Episode 5, a one quick Barra swap. Now in this episode, it's all about the Barra. I've got it sitting here, I've got me refurbished Paul Rogers transmission, I've got the Dominator converter, let's get it together. Alright, so we're here on the bench. My guys made a quick bracket on the engine mount staunches there just to bolt it down, so it's quite safe up there. So for you guys that don't see the crane, it's going nowhere, it's safe to work on. The coolant lines and oil lines and everything else, Mamba make a kit. So these guys, we jumped online, they're really helpful. Everything's here, jump online, a full kit, it wasn't that expensive. And as a bonus, they threw me in a bar mat for my bar, so that's sitting up there nicely, mopping up the beer. Wastegate, it's a Ford brand, local Ford dealership, they're on the shelf, that was really easy to get. Now, in the last episode when Jesse dismantled the engine, the exhaust manifold come off, we damaged a couple of threads. Now, to rectify that, got myself a thread repair kit. It's just a Champion brand, Auto Pro versions, any of them guys have all got them. And what we're going to do is also go to studs. Now, a couple of reasons for the studs. Once the stud's in the head there, we don't have to worry about damaging any more threads. Also, when we torque up the high mount manifold, it will bolt up a lot stronger. You can torque them up a lot stronger with this stuff. Van turbo, a lot of heat, we want it to seal up quite well. That's that out of the way. Now to the good stuff. My transmission that I sent to Paul Rogers, that's the one we picked the better of the two of. So it's a Turbo 350. It's been down to Paul. Now it's a GM pattern, so it can suit our kit. So just a standard GM one. It's gone to heavy duty. It's fully manualised valve body. That helps with the compressors through the range of the gear changes. All my transmissions are done by Paul. I've had all my stuff over the past. I've had issues redone by Paul. Never had an issue. Great guy to deal with. Very helpful. Now, if you are going to deal with Paul or any other guy who does the transmission, give him the power you're going to put through it, what it is, and them guys will give you a bit of a quote. So, I mean, the price range is massive variance in horsepower. So, talk to the guys, Paul Rogers Transmissions. That's who I use. They're handy. You use who you want to go, but highly recommend. Dominator converters. 3200 stall. Rogers only uses Dominator. I've used Dominator before, Paul, and I've never had an issue. Now, the guys down there, same thing. They're really helpful. Their stuff's really good. It's got a 3200 RPM stall in it. It's a 9.5 inch eliminator series, I think he calls it, but they're the same. So your transmission guy will probably want to pick the converter. If you do need just a converter done, the guys down at Dominator, they'll stick it down there. Just Google them, they're really helpful, and they do a top quality product. Now, what I'm going to do is, I've got the rod shop stuff laid out on the bench. Step number one is, we want to get this transmission mated to this Barra, which I missed out in the last episode, so it's definitely going to go in this episode. It's going to be all mounted up. So we'll head over to the bench. I've got Jess with his stuff laid out, and we'll see where he's at. Righto, so I'm going to bring the converter over to Jesse over here. Now Jesse's going to run us through the kit. Where are we at, Jess?
Alright, we've got the standard flex plate here, sandwich plate. We won't be using this anymore. You want that?
I'll get rid of that one.
Alright, we've got the rod shop adapter plate kit here. Alright, so I've got the standard measuring tools here.
Alright, so we're all set. Jess got everything laid out. What do you want to do, mate? What's the move?
Go and grab the Turbo 350 off the bench, bring it over here, and we'll set it all up.
Alright, let's clear the path, let's get it done. Throw that out of the way. Alright, I'm going to leave you, mate. You're talking through the steps and I'm out of here.
Alright, no worries, cheers. Alright, step number one, we've got the adapter plate. This one has not got the dowels in it. I just grabbed this from the store. So what I'm going to show you now is how to put the dowels into the plate. So then we can bolt it onto the transmission and then check all the bolt lengths. Alright, so this is the way we do it here. But like I said, there's another way you can use a vise to do it if it doesn't come with the dowel in the plate. So, take a fair bit to push them in. That one's in. You want to make sure it's flat with the back of the plate. You don't want it sticking out through the back of the plate. Alright, so this is the second option. You got the vise, you got the dowel, you got the plate. You just make sure the dowel's nice and line with the dowel hole, then you start winding it in. As you can see, it's going in. Alright, so we've got the Turbo 350 down here on the bench. We've got the adapter plate with the dowels in it. Now, I've noticed that this one's got the short case on the Turbo 350 housing, which is just here. We'll be using the short bolt. Now, there'll be a longer bolt there in the kit for when you have the longer transmission there. So what we'll do now is we'll chuck this plate up onto it, and we'll just make sure that these bolts don't come out at this face of the plate. You want them about 1 mil before the face. Righto, so as you can see here, the bolts are actually about 1 mil below the front of the plate, so that's 100% fine. Right, so we've got the offset down now. I'm going to fit it into the adapter plate. You can see as the transmission bolt hole there does not line up 100%, so we've got an offset down. I'll fit that in, and I'll just make sure that this does not bottom out and it's the right length. So the way to do that is fit her in, and then we'll wind it all the way in. And what we want to do is make sure that it's all the way compressed and it's not actually bottoming out in the actual dowel. Okay, so we've got the offset dowel fitted, bolts all in, it's 100%. Now due to variations in the transmission cases, you might need to shave down the bolt a little bit, but ours is 100%, so we don't even need to worry about that. Alright, so now we have to remove the hollow dowel from the barra on the right hand side. Now we have to shorten this, so we've only got 5 mil protruding from this side of the face. Alright, so once you've shortened your hollow dowel, so you've only got about 5 mil protruding, you'll just have to measure how deep your dowel hole is here, to how long your dowel was, and remove whatever's required. Alright, we should have roughly about 5 mil. 4.9, I'm happy with that. Alright, so now what we're going to do is remove the factory passenger side hollow dowel, which I found the best way to do it is just grab it very tight, put this in here, give it a wiggle. Here it comes, it's out. Alright, now we've got the offset dowel, we're going to fit that. We have to make sure that the dowel part in here is very clean, so that it can actually rotate in it. At the moment I can see that it's not going to really rotate that well, so we'll give it a clean out first. You don't want to use anything too coarse, because what it will do will actually damage where the dowel goes in. So we're using just Scotch-Brite, just to get all the muck and stuff out of it. Oh, that's better. Alright, so we cleaned up the passenger side dowel hole. We've got the offset dowel from the kit. All we do is just pop that in, put a flat washer, spring washer on, and the nut. Then we've got a flathead screwdriver, and in the back of here it's got a flat cutout, so you can actually put it in and turn the dowel. So we leave this all loose, because we will need to rotate that when we put the rest of the kit in. Alright, so we've got the adapter plate here, dowel's already in the block, so what we'll do is we'll fit it up. Alright, now we've got 4 bolts here. We've got a long one here with the head turned down. That's got to go in the right hand lower bolt hole. Then the rest, these 3 can go wherever, it doesn't matter. So we'll just do them up finger tight, then we'll get the torque wrench out and do them up to spec. Alright, so just make sure they're already been Loctited before you put them in. I already had them done. So now we just do it up to the torque setting. So now we're going to put the flex plate on. It's just a factory forward one. Now, it does need to go on a certain way, so I just put it on there and span the rotation until the bolt's lined up to the holes. I've marked it, so now I can just pop it straight on. Alright, so we've got the factory forward flex plate on, bolts are in hand tight. I've got a screwdriver just in there so it'll stop it spinning when I'm doing the torque specs. Alright, so now what we're going to do is fit the crankshaft adapter in. First thing to do is pull the spigot bush out. If you have one in there, it's got to be out. Alright, so before when I fitted the crankshaft adapter, I forgot to mention that I put retaining compound on it, so make sure you do that. So now we're going to move on to the starter. Alright, so we've got the torque converter dry plate spacer here now. We've got a couple of different bolts. We've got 3/8 UNF, 3/8 UNC. Our torque converter I've already checked, it's 3/8 UNF. So we'll disregard the 3/8 UNC. We'll sit the spacer plate on top of the torque converter now, then we'll nip up the bolts. Make sure you keep them loose, so then you can rotate this and move it to its center point of the actual torque converter. Alright, so now I've got the ring bolted on to the torque converter. It's not all the way up and we've got minimal movement there. So what we have to do now is measure it, get it central, and then once we've done that, we'll slowly nip the bolts up and use Loctite on it, and obviously double check the measurements again. Alright, so I've got the torque converter spacer actually pretty center, as best I could get, but if you guys aren't comfortable with doing this at home and you want to be 100% correct, I recommend taking it to a transmission specialist. Alright, I've got the torque converter spacer plate on. Now, they're all up tight. I'll remove one at a time, put thread lock on it, and do them all back up. Alright, so now they're all Loctited in. I'm going to triple check it, because like I said, this has to be 100% right. Yeah, and that's good. Alright, so now we've got the torque converter with the plate on it. Bolts are all in. They got Loctite on them. Now I have to do the torque settings, so Mark's going to come give me a hand with that.
What do you want to hold it down here, mate?
Yep, that'll do it. Give it a cuddle.
Oop. Elbow, torque wrench, something clicked.
Oh,
Beautiful.
that's hard to hold, isn't it?
She's firm. Beautiful.
That's it. Awesome.
Alright, so what do we torque them down to?
Just down to GM specs, because we are using a GM torque converter.
Alright, everyone's got Google on the phone. Now while I'm here, we're nearly ready to go and put this on the engine.
Yeah,
Anything else to do?
Slip it into the trans first, I reckon.
And then while I'm here, we'll carry her over, eh? Let's do it.
That's it. Alright, got a last measurement to do. It's going to be measuring the front of the spacer plate to the front of the trans. We should have 9 mils going by step 7. And we are at 9 mil there and 9 mil there. So that should be perfect. Alright, so we've got the gearbox popped up on a couple of bits of steel here. Now I'm going to get Jace to come over and give me a hand. We're going to line the gearbox up to the adapter plate, bolt that all up, and I'll show you how to do the lower offset down. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to do the offset down. At the back here, there's a flat groove in the back of the bolt for a flathead screwdriver. And you can turn it. Alright, now you can see that the hole is not lined up with the gearbox mount hole. But as we're turning it, drop the bolt in. It should be pretty much lined up there. That's it. Oh, now, make sure you do up the back bolt here for the dowel before you do up the transmission one all the way. Once that's done, move on to the transmission bolt. Once that's done up tight, go around the rest and make sure they're all tight because they'll be left loose so you can do this part of the job. Okay, so now we're going to do the torque converter dry plate spacer. Now there is a little cap down in here which is in the sump. Take that out and make it a whole lot easier to do these bolts up. I have got a ratchet on the front of the crank here, so that way as I turn it I can look down the bottom there and I can see each bolt hole line up. Then I'll put Loctite on each bolt and make sure you do that, and I'll just put them in finger tight, and then I'll go around and do the torque setting to a standard Ford torque setting. Alright, so we've got the torque converter in there. Now we're just going to do them up to spec, the torque wrench. So we're just going to set them to BA, BF, torque settings. Yep. Yep.
Righto, so Jesse's got the trans fully mounted up to the engine, that bit's out of the way now. We have the repair kit. I have myself a few new accessories for the engine. So I have a new alternator in the bag there. Brand new AC pump to go on, but we are running out of time. So next week we'll come back, Jess will finish the engine off, we'll get it in the car for the final time. So thanks for watching, like and subscribe below, and see you next week.